welcome into the program. Hot Shots Part 2.
Part duh.
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 Part duh.
Duh.
I don't know why that came to my mind. I was thinking, I think I seen a GIF or something about it. Of like, I miss when they used to make spoof movies like
Funny.
that it actually had a storyline where it wasn't just a bunch of bits, that it was an actual...
Yes. And the Hot Shots are very underrated.
Extremely.
Very underrated. And they're hilarious. I mean, it's the Hot Shots Part duh is...
Yeah.
It's funny. Funny in hell.
Like, there was a whole thing of, like, you had those, you had...
The airplanes.
Airplanes. Well, that was in, like, the 70s. But,
yeah, it's still funny.
And then you had all the Naked Gun stuff.
Yeah.
Of, like...
Then the Wayans brothers got with the scary movies.
Yeah, that it was actually... And then, like, midway through the scary movie run, they started going into that. Just, here's a bit, here's a bit. We're plucking stuff from 80 different movies. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Stupid. But, yeah. I do like those ones. It's I think the Hot Shots was probably the first one that I remember.
Yeah.
And then as I got then I watched Airplane. Then like Blazing Saddles came in, and like I fucking love that movie. Yeah. That movie's hilarious.
Except for like they didn't know how to end it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
I mean,
boy, we sat around and this ending is just like, all right, here we go.
Of like those kinds of comedies and the older ones, like Spaceballs is hilarious to me.
I love Spaceballs.
I love Spaceballs. Use the Schwartz.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's a funny movie that's spoofing something, but it's an actual movie. It has its own storyline. I was just thinking about Spaceballs the other day of like doing something with like a password, and where he's like, okay, the password is 1, 2, 3.
I during football season, I used the Spaceball reference and got a lot of laughs. I was watching the Browns games with a bunch of guys, and Anthony Schwartz caught the ball and did pretty good. I was like, use the Schwartz.
That's perfect.
Got a bunch of laughs. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, Spaceballs of fresh air, cans of fresh air.
But the scary movie, that's kind of like, well, that's probably more you, I guess, than me. But I remember when they came out and they were funny. I mean.
Yeah, after that, I don't, like, I watched the second one and then the third one. It was like, okay.
The third one was okay.
We're done.
When they did, like, the signs, and then, like, the fourth one, that's, I think, when it started getting the bits and stuff in there. But the scary movie, like Signs, not that scary of a movie. Yeah. Like, it's just aliens. It's not scary. Then you throw 8 Mile in there, and that's probably the funniest bit, is when he's trying to play Eminem.
Yeah. Of, like, why is this in here?
Yeah. So funny.
As you talk about football being over, that like trying to look for stuff to watch. I was so kind of upset about it because that Space Force show that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yes.
It's not the greatest comedy, but it'd pass the time.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 episodes? That's all we're doing.
Is the second season pretty good?
It's 6 episodes.
Oh, okay. So that's done then.
It's done.
I mean, it's probably not
I don't know if they got a part 2 of season 2. If Netflix has just ended doing that now, but it was like, I laughed at some stuff and it was like,
and it's over.
Oh, that's it? Like, that's all we're getting?
Mm-hmm.
Is
it okay? Is it?
Yeah.
We're okay.
Yeah.
Did you, don't tell me what, but do you find out what Lisa Kudrow did?
No.
Oh, damn it. That's the only thing I really want to know is how did she get like.
They touch upon it.
Okay.
And then, like, you get an idea of how. Like, you might get a rough idea of how, like, it was really fucking bad.
Yeah.
But they never like, obviously, that's an ongoing joke of it that they're not going to tell you. Like, even, just like the first seasons, there's parts where they start talking about it and it cuts away. Yeah. But I like the show.
Yeah, it's a funny
But it was just like,
I mean, it's very, I would say, I mean, if you want to compare with Steve Carell, it's very, like, Office-esque, which is kind of dry. It's work humor.
Yeah.
And then John Malkovich, his sarcasm and stuff like that's very funny.
He might be the funniest guy on the show.
He is. He's very funny.
Just because he's so explosive with,
Yeah.
But it got into of just like trying to find stuff to watch because I'm sure shit not watching basketball in the All-Star game, not a chance.
Did you see that number where the Daytona 500 beat it by like 41% or something like that?
But I'm not shocked by that. Like, that's the Super Bowl of NASCAR.
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
But you should be embarrassed if you're the NBA.
That's your all-star game.
Yeah.
That's like the best game to watch because that's when you see all the cool dunks and shit. I mean,
well, and that, and then the release of the viewership comes out again, like the top 100, like 87 of them were NFL.
Yeah.
And of the top 100 rated shows in the last year, not one of them was from any other sport.
No.
I'm like, okay, well, your sport sucks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it does. But I tried to watch that Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I'm probably a half hour into it. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. I mean,
I would guess I haven't seen it, but I would guess if it would make more sense if you were a bit of a gamer.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
And I'm not. But I understand the premise of it, and I don't know. It's just weird to me. But it's Ryan Reynolds, so I'll watch it because I find him very funny. I
did watch The Kingsman. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm a Kingsman.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's another one coming.
Yeah.
I guess that kid that plays Eggsy or whatever, they're going to do one more that kind of ends there.
And then probably picks up after.
And then there's another one that they were doing that might be a series.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little upset that The Statesman hasn't happened. You'd figure that spinoff would come at some point in time.
But The Kingsman's good.
Yeah, I like it. I mean,
did you see the sun dying? Did you see that coming?
Hopefully everybody's fucking watched that.
I mean, it's out on streaming and it was in the theaters. It's been plenty of time.
No, I didn't expect that. I thought.
Yeah, I thought he was.
I thought he was going to be
me too.
part of the crew that helps move this forward. Of nope, that is not what's happening
not
here.
What happened at all.
I do like, how the historical accuracies and stuff. I mean, they're not, but
they
kind
are.
of.
I mean,
but they are. It's
yes.
the context
You're
of it.
You're using that to make your way through.
Like the Rasputin thing.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's kind of how it happened.
Oh, yeah,
there was. Obviously, but that guy looks like him.
I know it.
Because obviously, if anybody's like me, when you watch a movie and there's some historical person, you
want them to look like
you
him.
look up the picture, and you're like, all right, I'll buy that.
Yeah,
I'll buy that. Because that was always a weird thing too, of because you always hear of people making calm down, Rasputin.
Yeah,
but you never really knew what he did.
Yeah, now you do, and it's
and then it came, with the whole royal family there, and
yeah.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that country that they were from because shit's popping off right now, too, of gas about to go real expensive and people are going to lose their lives.
Yeah.
But you didn't tune into this show for that.
No. But yeah, it's a good one. I hope they make more. The far-fetched action is what I like. And that's probably why I still enjoy the Fast and the Furious movies, just because it's far-fetched action.
That's one that I've given up on. I just can't.
I didn't watch the latest one that came out.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like there's an age limit to it now. It was really cool when I was younger.
Yeah.
And now it's I just watch them because I've already watched all 8 of them. So I might as well watch this one,
When I was watching, just trying to kill time of rewatching House.
Uh-huh.
And whatever, I'm in the final season of it or whatever. And I forgot about this of obviously the premise of that is it's some medical mystery nobody can figure out, but they figure it out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, and the one guy, it's oh, yeah, we figured this out. He wouldn't tell us his name, doesn't know nothing. Figure out that it's a diet thing that he can't ingest chloroform, so he can't eat vegetables. That's what was making him sick.
Yeah.
And then, hey, he's cured. And then the next thing is a bunch of FBI people, and the patient's gone. And it's oh, he's a serial killer. It's killed 13 people. That's why they're here, and he was eating them.
Oh, God.
And that was the end of the episode, and they never touch on it again. Of what?
Yeah. What the fuck?
They just cured a serial killer, and we're not going to tie that in and talk about it any other time. Of that just out of the last minute and a half of the show was, what's the FBI doing here? Well, when we ran his DNA to check for this, it hit a database, and then that was this guy, and he's a serial killer who eats people. That's why he didn't get sick before, and we gave him vegetables because he's only eating human. And what the fuck?
Yeah. And that's it. That's
all right. I know this is why your last season. I feel like you're running out of options there. But okay, that's what we're going with.
Wow.
But it's getting so tough this time of I just can't do it with it basketball. I can't even watch Ohio State basketball. I just can't do it.
I watched the second half of Duke and Virginia last night, and I was like, oh man. Oh my God. Virginia's not ranked, so it's not like they're stellar. And Duke is just so bad at shooting the ball. If they can't if they can't get a fast break, they're bad. They're really bad. It's like, oh my God. But you guys are, I mean, it was like they were up by 4 with like 30 seconds to go. The guy's going to the line. He's a starter for Duke. Missed both free throws. I was like, you're up by 4.
Yeah.
With, 2, I mean, they can, you know what I mean? This is probably going to seal the game for you. And you missed both. I'm like, God damn, man, you're a Division I basketball player at Duke. It's not like you're playing for, nobody. It's like, yeah, and you missed both free throws. I don't know. It's bad.
Well, and then the only other basketball, obviously the All-Star game, nobody gives a fuck. Mm-hmm. But like the LeBron James stuff, basically saying, the Lakers were done.
Yeah.
And like he's already angling to get out of LA.
Uh-huh.
But then saying like the last thing that I do is I want to play a year with my son.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, And then think about it, and then you start hearing the talking heads of like, yeah, they're not sure his son's even good enough to play in the fucking NBA.
No, I don't.
But what's happening is like somebody in a lesser market is going to draft him because they're going to get LeBron to sell some fucking tickets.
Yeah, no shit.
Like he just positioned his son to get drafted, and he might not be good enough to play.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is weird.
Which is very weird. But I mean, Jordan's son wasn't very good.
Well, they can't be.
No, I mean, the last son I remember being really any good. Wasn't Stockton's kid pretty good for Gonzaga for a couple of years? Like, that's the name that I remember hearing about.
Like, Steph Curry's pretty good, so. His dad played in the NBA for like 12 years.
Yeah,
so.
I was thinking more, like the dad that I would have watched. Sorry, I didn't think of the.
Did you watch Stockton?
No.
Okay.
But I know who he is. I didn't think of Del Curry, sorry.
So you're only...
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like Shaq, I think Shaq's kid sits the bench at LSU.
Yeah.
Like you're not, you're Shaq.
He had some like heart condition too that it was like, ooh, you might die.
You're 7'2", you can't put together a minute.
Yeah. I think a little bit of that is they don't know if his heart's going to blow up or not.
I got it. I mean, if you love the game.
Yeah, give it all for the game at LSU. Let's go. Are we about done with the let's go stuff too? Because I get tired of hearing that.
No, that'll be a thing for forever. Because there's not another quick saying you can say in the moment that your brain's just going to tell you to say that. And I don't know why.
Well, the one I don't get with it it's a big TikTok thing and they always yell let's go of like, hey, I'm going to put a 20-ounce bottle 30 feet away and I'm going to try to throw a pin in it. And there's like 87 pins around the floor and then they make one. Let's go. Let's go. Like they just if you did that on try one, I get why you'd be excited. Yeah. But if you throw 147 pins, there's a pretty good chance one of them's going to fucking get in there. I mean.
Yeah.
Dude, perfect. They ruined the fucking world.
Yeah.
That was cool at the beginning. It was like, then, it starts leaking out of like, oh, hey, you tried to shoot that basket like 87 times, I'm no good at the sport, but I'm pretty sure within 100 I could probably make one from.
Yeah, that I don't like the people who ruin that shit for me. You know what I mean? Like I just want to watch the video to enjoy it. What was it, Dude Perfect, who also did like all the food shit? Like they would make like an omelet with like 200 eggs. Was that Dude Perfect or was that a different group of people? I always see
like an Asian guy doing that.
Okay.
I don't know if they have any Asians.
No,
Dude Perfect.
It's not. No. I know who you're talking about. That guy. This was like a YouTube thing.
He might not even be Asian. I just want to make that up.
But I know who you're talking about.
As a matter of fact, I think he is not.
No, I don't think he's. I mean, he might be Asian because Asia's a pretty big continent, but
more Eastern European.
Yeah, maybe
block.
Yeah.
I mean,
but no, there was like a YouTube group, and they would just make these. They would just waste a bunch of fucking food. I mean, they would literally make like an omelet with like 200 eggs and like 5 pounds of bacon. I mean, just ridiculous. But I don't know why I watched that. But I did.
It's amazing what you get into because how good they are with algorithms. You pause on some stuff, you're going to start seeing it.
Yeah.
And then it's weird what you get into of like,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to see this of laser pointers and dogs biting people in the dick because that's what I'm into of like.
Apparently that's what I like to watch.
That's what I like to watch. Somebody chase us around. Yeah. Oh, this guy's sleeping right here.
Not a bad video.
It's great.
It's not bad. I'm not mad at you.
No. Not a lot. There's not enough nut shot stuff out. I mean, I'm sure there is. Just hadn't hit my
your TikTok feed yet?
My feed, but a good quality. But what ends up hitting it is shit that they're doing on purpose. I like
the accidentals
where like somebody kicks a soccer ball and it hits the post at an angle and comes back and whacks the fucking goalie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to see.
I know it's coming every time like a video pops up, but the kid and the dad playing wiffle ball and the dad gets smoked by the wiffle ball in the nuts is always a classic nut shot. Always a classic one.
That, the little kids in their fucking cars just running people over. Just like, what'd you think was going to happen?
Yeah, shit. Shit.
Just gave this person a motorized vehicle. 2 years old.
Yep.
Gonna do some shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a tough day. I don't know. I'm trying to think about anything else I've watched. I mean, it's just not, the tagging in the NFL is open, but nothing's going to happen for another week or so. It's like, they make a big deal out of it on ESPN. Hey, the tag window's open. It's like, nobody's tagging somebody on fucking day one. So,
no, because technically you're not supposed to talk to the person until today or whatever, Tuesday.
It's like whatever the last day, that's when people get tagged.
Yeah.
So.
Because once you inform the person that you're probably going to end up tagging them, their mind instantly goes, well, I just want to sign. Because I don't think really anybody wants the tag unless the tag is more than what you could get somewhere else. I mean.
And it's not.
No.
It never is.
No.
Because one thing that when you sign your tag, it's all guaranteed. So if you get hurt, you get it all. But then again, if you get hurt, you might not sign a contract next year.
Yeah.
And it's the average of the top 5 players at your position. But you cannot, like, if your tag is $18 million, you might sign a contract for $15 million and be better off.
Yeah.
Because with a tag, you can't get any bonuses.
Nope.
There is
you're getting that.
There is no 10 touchdown bonus. There is no 1,000 yards or any of that type shit.
Yeah.
So
I understand what the tag is for. I would feel if I'm on a roster and I'm a top 5 player on that roster and you want to tag me, I would feel disrespected.
Yeah.
I really would. I mean, I know a lot of people like, oh, he didn't sign his tag. Like, no, I mean, there's a reason he didn't sign his tag. The guy is one of the best players on the team. And especially when you're a top 5 guy, like in your position.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I remember when Denver was trying to tag Justin Simmons like 2 years in a row. Like, he's a top 5 safety in the league.
Yeah.
And probably your second best defender. Pay the man. Like, you don't want to piss him off.
Right.
And, I mean, because you're going to get him for a decent amount of money because the safety position is not, your pass rusher. You don't have to pay him a shit ton of money. You can give him what he's due.
To be the top tier guy. I mean,
you can give him what he's due, but it's just, I would feel disrespected for that.
Well, yeah, the tag is one, it's terrible because it's all for the team.
Uh-huh.
And the player has no say-so in that. I mean, they can not sell it, sign it, but they also get fined and they get, But it basically for like a Devontae Adams when it kind of came out that he wanted $30 million a year of like, well, you're getting tagged.
Yeah.
Because you can't negotiate that number.
No.
The tag price is going to be close to 19 and you're asking for 30.
Yeah.
Where the highest paid guy gets like fucking 20.
Is the highest paid guy at the receiver still Amari Cooper?
I don't know.
Okay, I knew at one point in time it was him.
I think his deal's up. I think all his guaranteed money's gone.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
he's on his last year of his contract, I believe.
No guarantee, though.
Yeah.
I mean, day one of season, it becomes guaranteed, but it is not guaranteed. Yeah. And usually a guy like him never is going to, usually nobody plays out their contract.
No, he's probably going to get traded. So. That would be my guess. But yeah, I mean, then Aaron Rodgers, everybody thinks he's going to give us his decision, and then he's like, nah, I'm not.
Well, then they were pissed off that he didn't.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, he just wants attention. He just did an interview on a show.
He literally said, I'm going to come to Indy and do it. And he was clearly not in Indianapolis.
Well, in the first minute that he was on, he goes, there are no decisions coming out on this interview.
Yeah. Okay. That's why?
And then everybody's like, he just wants attention. It's like,
oh, no.
You're behind a radio 5 days a week. Like, you should too.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I heard Pat say the next day with Stephen A. Smith said, I don't want to hear from Aaron Rodgers until he's made his decision to sign. We don't need this bullshit. We don't need any of that. Mm-hmm. And then Pat goes, well, Stephen A., I don't want to hear you talk about LeBron and Michael again until they play each other.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
That's the whole NBA conversation. You're talking about two guys 40 years fucking apart.
Yeah. It's, I didn't figure He would. I mean, why would he? He doesn't have to. He didn't have to for at least another week or two.
And his decision that he tells them is either I'm playing or I'm retiring.
Those are the only two.
He is not a free agent.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody assumes he is. He is not.
No, and it's like, I mean, I obviously root for the team that have all the speculation is that they're going to make a trade for him. But like even like the beat writers are like, and you know, someone's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to take his talents to Colorado or to Denver. I'm like, no, that's not how this works, guys. It's not how this works.
I don't know why everybody thinks he's a free agent.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And his cap number is like $40 million.
It's a ton of money.
Like they have to restructure a whole deal.
Yeah, for him.
Just to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that shit ain't happening.
No, he's either going to retire or stay as a Packer.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll
be a Packer. And he'll make the decision probably next week because that's when the tag deadline is. And he said he would do that for Devontae. So,
yeah.
Or they already know.
Yeah, I'm sure they already do know. I'm sure at least Devontae Adams knows, so he can say, do I want to sign this tag or do I want to go get somewhere else? Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how this one guy is like, I get it, it's Aaron Rodgers, but it's a weird aspect of one player can dictate so much. And I know it's a quarterback league, and I know he's one of the best right now. It's just very, very odd that in a game where you absolutely need all 11, it's not the NBA where you can have one or two. It's not another, you know what I mean? Where you need all 11, that this guy, one player, could make or break something. And it's just weird when you think about it like that. It's just very odd. And he's deserving of it. I'm not saying he's not or anything like that. But
it's weird that like him just doing an interview. Like I've seen a lot of NFL guys do interviews and he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And now everybody's pissed at that. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, they just don't like the guy. I mean,
which is fine.
It's just fine, but you don't have to make a big
they won't admit it.
No, they don't have to make a big fucking deal.
They won't come out and say, I just don't like the fucking guy.
Yeah.
It's like, well, he does this and this and this. And it's like, well, do you like him?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying I don't like him.
Then shut the fuck up.
Kind of are.
Kind of are, man.
So
if you bitch about everything he does, you don't really like him.
If I was him, I would do this. Well, you're not.
Yeah.
Well, like the one guy I was here on ESPN radio, he shits over everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I do too. I get that. But
yeah.
Like that guy's not even, what he does is he fills in for people on vacation. Like he doesn't even have his own fucking, like, dude, you're not even good enough to have your own show.
Shut the fuck
up.
Like
you sit in for Greeny and then you sit in for so-and-so of like, to act like the decisions you would make is even on that level is.
It's funny.
Pretty crazy.
It's funny. Yeah.
You know, like an old tubby white guy telling a NFL athlete what he should be doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, those are some of my favorite memes. Like the guy, or the Peter Griffin sitting on the couch eating his like cold cuts off his stomach.
Yeah,
people got to take better care of themselves.
Start taking care of themselves.
So every time I see that, I could do that shit.
Yeah, I'd be so much better at that situation.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't. We didn't really talk about. Well, it didn't happen, I guess, last week. But Brian Flores got a job.
It's a good signing, and that's the guy that needed
Pittsburgh.
To do it.
Yeah,
like any other franchise probably catches backlash.
Yeah,
that one doesn't.
No, it's a big deal. Like I mean, huge deal for Pittsburgh in general because one, your defensive coordinator that you hired in-house, which I think everybody can agree that's what Pittsburgh does. They do shit in-house.
Yeah,
is very good at his position that he always coaches, but he's never called plays before. The guy you just hired, Brian Flores, has called plays and been a head coach. He can help this guy out, and it's a good bridge for him. He's back to coaching, and then he can go apply for more jobs next year.
Well, that's because that's what you have to do. If he wasn't getting the head coaching job, which once the lawsuit came out, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But you can't take a coordinator job, and I know some people probably, well, he should have been the coordinator. No, you don't want that.
You don't.
Once you get let go as a head coach, you need to take either go to college and do it, like go to Nick Saban.
Yeah.
But you need to take a less than coordinator because 100%. If you take the coordinator job, you're Jason Garrett that takes a coordinator job and then gets fired. Now you're not getting hired.
No, nowhere.
So now you go back as a linebacker coach and defensive assistant or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah.
And then next year you get another job.
Yeah, but I thought that was great, and I mean, I think that with the whole situation, it's going to be forgotten about. I know we always talk about that with anything that's big news in I mean, you haven't even, since he's been hired, nobody has talked about the lawsuit that he put.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, let this thing go with this guy. Don't keep, I mean, when he applies for jobs next year, that shouldn't be a question that is asked.
Well, I think it's very well coming out that of all the stuff, like, he has people to corroborate it, but that's not really evidence of like, hey, all these lawsuits getting tossed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
they have the best lawyers and they're all going to get thrown out.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he did what he needed to do. He put a spotlight on it.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're never going to win that lawsuit. I mean, you're not.
I know that, you know, we cannot speak on that one because we're not black, and two, we're not head coaches. But I don't think that the hiring process of a black coach is the issue. I think when it comes down to your whatever, your front office, you want the best guy because you want to win football games. I don't think that has to do with it. I do, however, feel like there is a certain leeway with how many years you get.
Yeah, your leash is shorter.
Yes, I do feel like that just based off of, one, my team, two, other teams that you've seen it. I mean, Vance Joseph and Vic Fangio. Fangio got an extra year, and they both ended up with the same fucking record.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, you know what I mean? Not saying that there is a correlation, but it just seems like there is a shorter leash for a black coach once he's gotten the job.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, I would hate to say that it has anything to do with it, but, but the initial process that he was upset with, I don't think that there is an issue there, because at the end of the day, you just want to fucking win. You want the best guy.
Yeah.
And that's just my thoughts on it. But
yeah, and it's just and it didn't help that happened the way it did with him. He fires the lawsuit. The Texans fire their coach after a year.
Yeah.
Who they hired. Didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
And they fired him to hire the white guy that they wanted, but then this lawsuit came out, so they gave it to Lovie Smith, of whom they're going to fire in 2 years.
Yeah.
So they can give it to the guy they wanted it the first time.
I would feel more confident if David Culley put out a lawsuit than Brian Flores.
I won some games with this shit that you gave. Yes. We had no draft picks.
None.
Our quarterback that we're paying is not here.
Yeah, you didn't give me any chance to do anything. Why am I gone? Would be, I think he would have more grief than anybody, in that circumstance. But it's the NFL, it's a business at the end of the day, and
it's not going to do anything.
No, it's not going to do anything. It's going to hurt you personally, which is the bad part. But but Flores has a job. Good. Forget about what all this shit happened, and he'll get a job next year.
Yeah, because there'll be another 7 of them open.
Yeah, it's just the way it goes.
That's the way it works.
The way it works, man. But I think there was one other. I thought there was another coaching kind of hire.
Well, Miami started finishing up their staff, and I think Minnesota's finished theirs up too, which is basically just poaching people from other teams.
Yeah, I think Mike McDaniels took half of the 49ers assistants with him. I know Wes Welker went over to Miami with him. There's a couple. I like when the ex-players get involved with coaching.
Yeah,
I really, especially their position.
Yeah.
One, because Wes Welker at his highest was one of the best. I mean, so he can give knowledge. I mean, and then I think they hired Pat Surtain Sr. as like a DB coach.
Yeah,
he's obviously going to give some insight. I mean, I like when ex-players become coaches.
Well, I think that's where some of the complaints were of when ex-players would want to get into coaching of their, I can't. Is it player personnel or whatever? That's kind of the grad assistant of the NFL.
That or quality control.
Yeah, they stick them in there of like, well, you got to put your time in here of like, well, I played in the league at a high level for 14 years of like, I feel like I can coach a position group.
Especially a position group that I played.
But it's you didn't pay your dues. So it's like, so the only way to get a head coaching job is to not be good enough to play the game. So that you can start at 22.
Yeah.
And
I mean, anybody... the way I look at it is like somebody's got to start from somewhere. Give the guy a chance. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I mean, Kyle Shanahan gives DeMeco Ryans a shot at, calling defense. The guy's never called a defense before. He coached linebackers the year before. He was a defensive assistant. Somebody's got to do it. I mean, give him a chance. And he did a halfway decent job with it for his first year. He'll learn and get better. He'll take advice from other people. I think that's why they wanted to hire Fangio as a defensive assistant, just because,
Well, and that's the one of, like, he he threw Darius Butler threw his hat in the ring, at Indianapolis. He's not going to get that job. But even if they did give it to him, they're like, well, he's never called a defense or game plan. It's like, well, he sat in those meetings, and in that position, he was the safety who made all the adjustments for the back half of the defense. So he might know what he's fucking talking about.
Yeah.
I mean,
did they hire a DC yet?
I don't know. I think they did.
Okay. I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
I mean, I don't find it weird because Zimmer's probably still getting paid, but I feel, that he didn't take something. Whether it was just a senior assistant somewhere, or I find that one weird. But he could be holding out for
maybe just wanted, One, it depends on how his exit was too. If he's still getting paid for them, he can't take another job. He's got to be a consultant for no pay, so he's still getting. That's usually when you see him consult at some college for something.
Yeah, yeah. He's a guy who he just needs to coach. Yeah, he does a very complicated thing. When you have the right personnel, it works.
Yep.
And when you don't have the right personnel, you saw what happened last year. It just doesn't work.
Right.
But he's a guy who just needs to, because I feel like he knows a lot of shit just because he shows something different every week.
Just the 2 times a game, he's going to cause a quarterback fuck up.
Yeah.
Just because he's going to confuse the shit out of him. And that's, you get in the playoffs, you only need one of them.
Yeah.
Usually.
I mean, you ask Aaron Rodgers, he didn't want to play against him for 2 times.
No.
He hated it. Hated that. I'm really excited for the free agency. I don't know if the tag is going to be a big deal.
Usually not. There's only one name out there.
Devontae and
the Bengals. What's his name?
Bates, the safety. They're going to tag him.
It's going to be up there. I mean, they need to keep him. But can you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, because he was good. He's good.
Of like, hey man, hey, you understand? Like, we want to pay you, but like this guy's dragging his fucking leg again, so we kind of need to do that too.
Yeah, they have the money to sign him. You know what I mean? They could give him what and then not have to worry about it. Save it for next year for Joe Mixon or something like that. If they could put some pieces together and make another run at it.
Other than that, you see people getting tagged at.
Yeah,
you're going to get some offensive linemen tagged and some people, some special team guys, get tagged for $1 million. And
the worst part, the worst part about free agency is all the made up shit that you hear. All these reports. Did you see the one earlier about the Bengals this week? That there was talks that they're trading for Quentin Nelson. Why in the fuck would the Colts trade Quentin Nelson when he's still under contract?
Well, and here's the other one of like everybody says Aaron Donald best player in the game. Quentin Nelson might be the second.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, come on.
Yeah. Goddamn.
Yeah. Because Indianapolis want to trade him in conference.
Yes.
To a team that's fucking 80 miles away.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing. I was like, really?
When they're a run heavy team.
Yeah. Pick a different guard, and I could probably be like, that makes sense. Yeah. Not the best one.
Yeah, they're going to get the best one there. And then they're going to get the best one from every team they want to trade. Yeah. Like, okay, well, that's not how it works.
They're trying to trade for Tyron Smith, the left tackle.
Yeah.
A
lot of it was Tunsil. They traded the 31st pick for Tunsil, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he's been kind of a...
Who traded? The Bengals traded for Tunsil?
No, that's the rumor.
Oh, that's the rumor.
That'd be because the Texans can't extend him.
I wouldn't trade for him. He was terrible with when Deshaun Watson was back there. Yeah. He was always the reason they got fucking sacked.
Wait till fucking Saints start cutting some of their fellas.
I was going to say, Teron Armstead is going to be, I think he's a free agent, legitimately free agent. Go ahead and give him some money because he's really good.
Yeah, that's what that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, everybody's teams like just assumes these guys want to come play for them.
Yeah.
Well, that's not.
I mean, Cincinnati has legitimately a worse recruiting stance than Cleveland. I mean, if you want to go with the state of Ohio, at least Cleveland has an indoor facility, and it makes sense of what they do. You're going to come practice, and majority of your season's cold as shit.
Yeah,
and you're going to be outside while you do it.
Yeah,
or you're going to go to a
everybody
college.
Practices outside, but
I get it. But if it's storming or something, you get bussed somewhere else, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's basically if you have a shit ton of cap space. You can, good catch.
Thank you.
You can, guys looking for their first big contract, you're going to get them.
Yeah.
But guys on their second or third contract, you ain't getting them.
No.
Unless you have, a dude, unless you're the Bengals. Like the Bengals are going to get second contract guys that are like, hey, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, I can help.
We got a shot here. If I can go do that.
Yeah. And I mean, they could easily get the Tunsil guy. I would wait for the Texans to cut him because they're not be able to afford many people.
That's what everybody says. They're like, trade for that guy. It's like, well, no, you just look at you have to look at the contracts and what they got left in guarantee, what their dead cap is, and you go, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if they keep him, it's $30 million. If they cut him, it's $1 million. They're probably going to fucking cut that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And they know they can't trade him. They'll try to trade him, but the other teams are going to.
Dumbass.
When they give you a draft pick for a guy you're going to cut in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because it's, March 15th, all teams have to be cap compliant.
Yeah, and I think the 16th or 17th free agency opens.
Yeah. So all the guys get, whatever, murder week or whatever. Everybody's getting chopped. Of like, okay, cap casualty time.
Ooh, it is a ton, but it's 4 or 5 teams that have to do it too. It's not just, everyone wants to talk about the Saints. The Texans are in big trouble too. I think the Packers are in big trouble too. If they were 37 over, they've already restructured one guy and knocked $10 million off of that. So I mean, it's and a lot of that's going to get there. When Rodgers comes back, they're going to restructure that, and that'll get them probably close to the number because they'll. We'll sign you to 5 years. We'll push this out. This is a signing bonus. These years are voidable, and now we're under the cap. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very possible. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting this next 2-3 weeks to see who. I know. I think we always say this that there are going to be some stars, but it just seems like nowadays you can push shit back, and if you want to keep that guy at least, know. I think one of the biggest names that it would be shocking if he stays would be Zeke. I would be shocked if they keep him, then they wouldn't try to trade him or cut him or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just because. He's at that, like it's. Yeah, he's at that where his cap hit's getting like, okay, time to go. He's at that spot where he's no longer your feature back. He's number 2 now. Tony Pollard can take the rock and you draft somebody or pick somebody else up that's less expensive. Yeah, I mean. Zeke's a guy that's going to end up with a. Bad team. No. Good team. Like they'll get cut and he'll end up signing late with Kansas City. Yeah. Or something like that. I think his running style, if you could get that whole running back room healthy, him in Baltimore would be fun. Him in San Francisco would be fun, just with the way that they run their schemes and things like that. Yeah. That would be. What, do you want to jump into that? That was since we kind of started there with the NFC East. Yeah. There's a new segment on the show trying to kill some time and we'll at least kill the next 8 weeks. Yeah. Basically what we're doing is we're taking each division of the NFL with the 4 teams in each one, and we're going to give what we would feel like would be the best trade for that team, and then a position group that they would need to get better at. They don't have to correlate or anything like that, but just in our eyes would be the best trade and what position group needs to be upgraded. We're going to start with the NFC East today, and we'll go from there on the next couple shows. I'll go ahead and start. I'm going to start with the Cowboys, just one because they won the league or won their division. To me, the Cowboys, I don't think offensively they need work or anything like that. I said they needed a trade for Danielle Hunter because I feel, you pair him with Micah Parsons. I think Micah Parsons stays as a pass rusher. I can't see him moving back to his drafted position. You got a guy's dominant, so you gotta. Yeah. And then Randy Gregory on the other side is not really anything. If you could trade for Danielle Hunter and get an actual pass rusher on the other side of Micah Parsons, I think that makes your defense even better. And that, what? Are you smiling? No, oh, okay. And then to piggyback off of that, one position group that people are probably going to call me an idiot for, their defensive backs suck. I don't care. Trevon Diggs had 11 picks or whatever, but they fucking kept throwing to him. He had the most yards against him as a corner. Your safeties aren't very good. Gave up 1,000 yards, didn't he? Gave up 1,000 yards receiving. Your secondary's bad. Okay, if you can't afford to have different people, corners are not a dime a dozen. You need good corners. You need good safeties. One thing to help that out is a good pass rush. Micah Parsons has obviously done well. If you could trade for Danielle Hunter and get it even better, I think that, one, it helps you as a team. 2, it helps you as a pass rush. When you look at what Dan Quinn did with the Falcons defense when they went to the Super Bowl, they had a good pass rush. Their secondary wasn't very good, but they had good pass rush. So I think that could, help them elevate it up. Okay. My Cowboys one. Okay. And this is my out of the fucking box. All right.
barring everything turns out okay.
Yeah.
Package deal, whether it's got to be a draft pick, whatever that compensation is, with Dak Prescott for Deshaun Watson.
Oh, all right. No,
because that is Dak Prescott is not going to win with Dallas. I think Deshaun Watson is a game changer. Granted, a lot of shit's got to get cleared up. But if we're going out on the limb of everything clears up.
Everything clears up. This is a perfect world.
That is hey, you're giving us a quarterback doesn't want to play for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's already under contract, and we're giving you one probably real close to the same money.
Yeah.
It's almost in that even swap change.
Yeah.
But if you're the Cowboys, you're going to have to give them a pick. But of like, hey, not only did we do, you also got your quarterback that's already paid for your future. Here you go.
Yeah.
You're in different conferences. You're in different.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Is the, I know, I love Dak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deshaun's way better.
Way better.
Dak Prescott's a 12 to 15 quarterback. Deshaun Watson, when playing, is probably a top fiver.
Yeah, probably.
That, to me, I mean, you put Deshaun Watson on that team, they sure shit don't get knocked out in the first round.
No, they do not. Nope.
I mean, you know, when everybody wants to talk about Dak is a numbers, he's Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
You know, before he gets a ring, you know, a lot of games, you're in a lot of fucking losses, and you got a lot of fourth quarter, you know, you got a lot of fourth quarters where you threw for over 200 yards.
He's a stat pattern. That's all. I mean,
you haven't done anything, but like, oh boy, put Deshaun on that team.
No, that's a good one.
That's a fantastic one. It's probably the best one you're ever going to hear. Nobody's going to be talking about it on the big networks.
Yeah.
But that's where I would go.
I mean, that's a blockbuster fucking trade. That's like a
put Deshaun Watson and the Cowboys. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. That's like the Herschel Walker trade right there.
100%.
100% is.
And you wouldn't say, now obviously, again, caveat of everything's got to be cleared. But if you're a Texans fan, you also couldn't be pissed. We got Dak, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, wow. That's a nice one. That's a good one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that was good.
The funny thing is, when you texted this idea last night, literally, I don't know, I'm just laying on my couch, you know, watching House.
Yeah.
And shit peeling through my head. And that just popped up in my head of like, that's what should fucking happen.
That's a good one.
Like everybody's like, well, Miami should get Deshaun and all this. Of like, fucking Cowboys should go for that.
Yeah.
And then you texted me your idea, and I'm like, that's what I told you. I have an idea. And then you said, well, you just want to start with the NFC East. I was like, fucking perfect, because that's what I was just thinking about that.
Well, the only reason I knew I wanted to do NFC first, because we both like our teams are in the AFC, so I figured we'd do the NFC first. And it was like, East. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's the East.
You can literally name any free agent, and they're going to work on every team.
Yeah. Did you have a position group that was bad for the Cowboys that you thought they needed to spruce up a bit?
Same as you. They need more rookie. Got those numbers. Next year, you're going to get shaded that way.
Yeah.
Of you gotta, if you have one stud, you got to have a guy that's borderline Pro Bowl on the other side.
Yeah.
Or they're just gonna take him out of the game.
Yeah.
And be like, well, you know, he still got his sack. Okay, yeah, but one sack and no more pressures than that is not changing a game.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can change the game on defense is through the pass rush. I mean, for the most part, unless you're like the fucking Packers playing the 49ers a couple years ago, for the most part, most defenses stop the goddamn run.
Yeah.
Like, well, you know.
Yeah.
Like a good running game on, you know, every once in a while you have an anomaly guy goes for 150 yards, but if a running back gets 85 yards in an NFL game, that's a fucking hell of a game.
Yeah, that's a nice game. Yeah.
But for the most part, most teams keep people under 100 yards.
And you don't see that anymore because everybody's going to this two-back system. So one person getting 85 yards, that's a nice game for that guy.
Yeah.
The other guy probably has 30, you know, I mean, and is complimentary to the other guy. But
even if you just say as a team, if you got 25 rushes and 90 yards as a team running the ball, that's a pretty fucking successful day.
Yeah, because every defense is built to stop the run first.
They're all going to stop the run. So, yeah, that pass rush is something. And then, you know, if that's the case, if you get quarterback pressured more, then Diggs is going to be better than he is. You're not going to get beat deep in 2 seconds.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, just ask the Steelers. I mean, if you got to throw the ball in 1.4, or ask the Bengals in the second half. If you got to throw it in less than 1.5, you're not.
Yeah,
ain't much you can do about it. So
nice.
That's there.
That's a good one. I like that one. That's nice.
Because I'm a big Dak hater.
Yeah, I know you are.
And not as a person. He's probably fine, but of the
that he's the best. He's not a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, he's not. When you're asking for $40 million, you're asking for Rodgers money.
Yeah.
Okay, now boy. I mean, you're not.
Win a playoff game first, buddy.
Yeah, do something.
Then we can talk.
Well, I averaged 350 yards a game. But all the teams that make the playoffs hold you to like 150. So
well, the sad part about it is his best game that he played this past season was Week 1 against the Bucs.
Yeah.
He had 350 passing, but they were still in the game. Now, they did lose, but that was his best game he played.
Yeah.
Because they were still competitive. He was still doing shit. And then it was like, back to being Dak stuff.
But it's in a playoffs, you need to throw it on the quarterback's back at some point in time, him go win you a game.
Yeah, I don't know if he's that guy.
Give me Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, he's done it before. He's won games before with him.
He's, because he's getting moved. I don't care what happens. Obviously, the lawsuit, if he gets cleared, he's getting moved, but he's getting moved either way, even if it keeps getting pushed off.
I think Michael Lombardi said that there's teams that are wanting him no matter what happens, that are going to offer him that they can. Yeah,
it's fucking Deshaun Watson.
Exactly.
And they have to move him.
Yeah.
Because the trade value is going down for him.
Yep.
You can pay him another $35 million. You're going to end up paying him $70 million not to play for you in the last. So
I mean, they're dumb enough they might.
He's getting moved.
Yeah.
And that almost just meshes up. Like, boom. I mean, and Deshaun Watson for the Cowboys, all that stuff's gone. He's a superstar. So I mean,
he would fit in.
He's
Dallas.
a superstar.
Yeah. All right.
Where you want to go next?
I got the Eagles next. This is my personal feeling. I think the Eagles are like almost on that cusp of being really, really good.
Yep.
My trade for them would be to trade for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
That's my trade for them.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts does really good for what they are right now, but they're kind of young. Their offensive line is not, so they need to, keep going at some point in time and push for that playoff push. I think if you get Russell Wilson, you get a leader there, you get somebody who's done it before, can help out, obviously, in other positions too. So I think that honestly, if you could give him a Russell Wilson, I think Russell Wilson needs a fresh start. I think his time is done in Seattle. It's a wash. He doesn't want to be there anymore. I could see the Eagles almost being in a Rams situation. Not saying they're going to go win the Super Bowl, but have that kind of quick turnaround. I know they made the playoffs last year, but they weren't going to beat Tampa. If you put Russell Wilson on that team, I think that's your next step going forward. And then linebackers or position-wise, their linebackers are so bad. Like your you relied on 4 defensive linemen to stop your run, and your linebackers were all coverage guys.
Yeah,
I think that position. If you can have one guy in the middle that is going to direct what you do, because if I remember, they had like 4 different starters there at one point in time. And then your back end's pretty good. I mean, you got Darius Slay, who's really good, and then your couple safeties are all right. If they could solidify that spot, I think they would be a very, very good team. And I honestly, if they could make that trade and Dallas doesn't do anything, they would win the division.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, somebody different wins it every year.
Yeah, you're right.
But where I would go, I don't have a trade in there. I like the Russell Wilson thing because I just happen to have him in that division somewhere else.
All right.
Mine goes more a free agent of they're going to go with Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
In my mind, that's where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
All in Allen Robinson.
Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me.
You've got a receiver, but if you want, like your running game's going to be fine. Like you can go get a running back or whatever, but your quarterback's your running back at the time that you're doing.
Yes. Yep.
But if he's ever going to be a passer, you got to give him more than one guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you got a speedster.
Yeah. You get Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson is a possession. Go get the fucking ball.
Yeah. And then Dallas Goedert's a nice little weapon to have too.
Now you've got, now you start getting into that little Cincinnati thing that they have going.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be the greatest passer. Allen Robinson, you don't have to be a good passer at all.
Yeah.
Get it within 10 fucking yards and the guy's going to get it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because everybody just forgets he exists.
Yeah.
Because Chicago, they don't even run plays for him.
Nope, not at all.
This guy is a free, they're not going to tag, if they tag him again, it's like $24 million. They're not going to do that. So he's going to hit the market.
Yeah.
he's top 3 guys on the market. And that's counting, like, he's ahead of Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
He's ahead, the other one that they're going to put in front of him is like Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Could be open.
Could be open too, yeah.
But like nobody talks about him because he's just been in purgatory in Chicago for 2 years of like, hey, it's one of the best, this is top, say, call him a top 5 wide receiver in the league that gets targeted like OBJ.
Yeah.
It's like 3 times a game they'll throw the ball roughly in his area.
Yeah. And people forget Allen Robinson, those 2 years where Chicago was relevant with Trubisky, he was throwing to Allen Robinson. So you made Mitch Trubisky okay.
Yeah.
I think Jalen's a pretty, more athletic, can, at least throw the ball a little better to that guy. Yeah, no, I like that one too. That's nice.
Yeah.
Good one.
That's where you want to go. You want to go New York or you want to go Washington?
Whatever you have next. We'll go with you first. You start.
We'll just go with Giants, and that's where I have Russell.
Okay.
Mainly because I get 2 top 10 draft picks.
Yeah.
So mine was always you get Russell Wilson. I think he just kind of New York is where I feel like because does he have no trade? I think he has
a no trade
right.
clause. Yeah.
I don't think he's going to Philly.
Yeah.
Like I think he's going to be like, no one's throwing batteries at me.
Yeah.
But I think New York is one of those ones where, hey, new coach, you got the offense that Josh Allen was running. And so use those draft picks, get Russell Wilson, and then try to get some pieces. You got Saquon there for another year before you cut him. But if you're not going that route, then those 2 top 10 draft picks need to be offensive linemen.
Yes.
And not a fucking weapon.
Yeah.
Then go buy a weapon out in hey, we got this guy, we got 2 offensive linemen, we got a running back, Amari Cooper's available, maybe we try to get him or somebody like him. Or you try to go after a Godwin.
Yeah.
But it's trade for Russell Wilson or draft lineman, get a weapon.
Yeah. It makes sense to me. With the Giants, to me, with the transformation of what Daboll did with Josh Allen, I feel like they're going to stick with Daniel Jones.
I do too.
He leaped him.
He's
Josh
never
Allen
had a chance.
Yeah, and Daboll leaped Josh Allen. He just made him that much better. So I feel like he's not terrible. He's not awful quarterback. He doesn't have anybody to throw to. He doesn't have any protection.
And when we say Ben gets 1.5, he gets 3/4 of a second.
Yeah. So I think they're going to roll with him. My biggest pieces in the draft wise that I have was offensive linemen. They got 2 top 10 picks. Go after offensive linemen.
Just go get 2 studs.
Yeah, you have to. The next one, I just feel like when you're an offensive minded head coach, you never go after that ball group, that side of the ball, your first year.
Yeah.
I feel like, because that's, that's always kind of the thing. If you're a defensive guy, you usually draft offensive pieces because, whatever.
Trying to play it off.
Yeah, to play it off that you care about the whole team. You know what I mean? When it would look bad if you just stacked your whole offense and you left your defense out for shit. So I said that New York, to sign to Davion Clowney, I think that they could sign him. It's a bigger market. It's, that's what he wants. He wants all the publicity. You could sign him for his year.
You don't think he wants to be in Cleveland anymore?
No, you could sign him for his year. One, it's going to help your defense because it was atrocious last year. And then a trade that I had was to help the Packers relieve some money. This talk that he's going to be traded was Za'Darius Smith. Trade for him too. Then you have nice little book in there. You can help. You're getting some help, some pressure there. And I think that could help Daboll because, like I said, I think that he goes defensive heavy in free agency and then drafts offense. That's kind of what offensive people do. But I think I really like the Za'Darius Smith trade. Whatever the Clowney. If you don't offer him, $15 million for a year, he'd probably turn it down. But the Smith one, I think you could trade for him. And not first rounders. He's not. He's going to be. You can use a second, and a third, and maybe next year's second too, and get him. And he's already under contract. I think he's got 2 more years left on his with Green Bay, so you don't have to sign him. You see how he does, and if not, you can go to free agency. But
I like that we're both on the. Hey, if you're keeping these picks, 2 offensive linemen.
It has to be
because they're not picking high enough. The 2 edge rushes are gone. Not for the third edge rusher. You might as well get in the second round.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's too high up for the receivers.
Yep.
Because they're what their first pick is 6 and 10,
something like that. Yeah, it's something.
the receivers are coming off the board in the teens, probably.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's a nice offensive line draft.
Yeah. Just go get those guys.
There's nobody there's no Penny Sewells from last year.
No.
It's very solid all the way through. So you could get 2 good ones in day 1 starters.
Yeah.
In the first round and feel better about yourself, you know?
Well, yeah, even if you went that, I mean, you're going to pick 2 tackles.
Yes.
And then in the second round, you could pick up a guard that's usually a starter, and then like one side of your line's taken care of, and the other side's halfway there.
Yeah.
I mean, in a hurry, you can turn that around.
100%. Yeah, so I like Dayball. I like what he did. He's one of the very few offensive coordinators who changed for a quarterback. You know, if you look at what he did in Alabama with Tua, they ran the ball because Alabama, but he also developed Tua into a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
And then, you take Josh Allen, who as a rookie was just sporadic as hell, turned the ball over. This year, he might have had like 2 picks, 3 picks. You know what I mean? So I think that Daniel Jones can do well under him.
Yeah. It's tough I almost said football team.
Me too.
But it's tough to say Commanders.
I had to write down Commanders. That way I wouldn't say football team.
I heard somebody say it of like, that's a name from fucking Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're the Washington Commanders.
It's an XFL team name.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's so bad. The Wolves would have been cool as shit.
Yeah.
The Wolves.
Go with an animal.
Yeah. The Presidents would have been better. Would have been way better.
Generals.
Something.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. You're in D.C. Do something.
And you are, but you're not.
You're not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a bad name.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where I got with him. I don't know what they're doing with Heineke. They need a fucking quarterback.
Yeah.
You already mentioned his name. Mitch Trubisky's their guy.
Okay.
They should go get him. And I'm going off of what Daboll said. Like, hey, this kid's way better. Like I think everybody can agree that he might not be worth a fuck, but he kind of got dicked over in Chicago.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think they can get him.
Mm-hmm.
And then their defense is at the point where you got to go with this defense now because they're going to start, if Chase is okay, but it's about time for these guys, their contracts are coming up of you're going to start losing some pieces.
Yeah.
So get Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
And you have got to get some weapons.
Yes, yeah.
Terry McLaurin is phenomenal, but he also misses games. Curtis Samuel was a great pickup, but then he didn't fucking play. You need a tight end and a receiver now.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. We both kind of had the same idea of offense.
Yeah.
But like you said, I didn't even think of defense because everybody's still signed. Go with what you have.
They're all on their rookie deals.
Yes, they're all good. I have a different trade. It's either going to be a trade or he's either going to be traded or cut. I don't think his cap hit is that bad, so I think he will be traded because I did look it up before I put it in here. I think they trade for Jimmy G. I think his cap hit's only like $1 million, 1.4, I think.
Well, it's $1 million if he gets cut, so that he's getting cut, so he might not trade.
So either way, trade or cut, whatever. I think Jimmy G.
In Jimmy's last press conference, I think he already knew he was getting cut.
Yeah,
it's kind of the way it sounded.
But I think Jimmy G, if you're not, he's better than Heineke. He is.
Yeah.
He can win you games. If your defense can perform like they did 2 years ago, I think Jimmy G's your guy. He's not going to turn the ball over. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He's experienced enough to solidify that spot for a year or two until you draft somebody or do something else. And then I have receivers.
Yeah.
You need weapons. Your weapons are terrible.
There's a list of 10 free agents right now. The top 3, you're probably not. Like, you're not getting Chris Godwin to come to Washington, unless you just throw all, because it'll be
money.
his first big contract because he was franchised last year.
Yeah.
Unless you just give him, hey, we got $20 million for you, then you might get Chris Godwin.
You might.
I got him going somewhere else, but but that's 6 through 10.
Yes.
You pick up 2 of those guys for $12 million, and
Yeah, and then I think, I think they need a tight end. I really do. That position is. People talk about some of the best tight ends, and not every team goes and gets a decent one.
Yeah.
And if you could give him a tight end, Jimmy G and George Kittle had a nice connection. The guy likes to throw to a tight end. I mean, granted that whether that his offense or whether it's just George Kittle, say what you want, but a tight end is almost a quarterback's like safety net.
Well, and you're drafting in a spot where I don't know a name, but I assume there's one coming out. There's got to be a tight end from Iowa coming out again. Yeah. You're going to be in that draft spot of just take them.
Yeah.
Because they're very successful in the league.
Yeah. I would like them to draft something to help out the offense. Say what you want. The defense got better as the year went on. I mean, It was just, everybody expected them to be this top 10 defense. It's hard to do. You have young guys.
Yeah.
Chase Young got hurt very early, Well,
and it's hard to do if your offense can't keep the fucking ball.
Yeah, when you're playing most of the snaps, it's not good. But if they get some weapons, different quarterback, I think that they'd be pretty good because they're coached well. I mean, Ron Rivera is a hell of a coach. Yeah. And say what you
think
want
about that. Pick up your and then draft a Garrett Wilson, and then you can just have all Ohio State guys out there.
Yeah, I do think that they're going to. I don't know their money situation, but I think quarterbacks got to be on their mind.
I mean, the salary cap doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get around it.
Yes.
I mean,
but the quarterback has to be on their mind no matter what, whether it's trade, free agency, something. It's got to be like, this is our main concern because it's Taylor Heineke. I'm not saying he's awful, but he's a backup quarterback. And he's going to
play if you get Jimmy G. Jimmy G is not playing 17 games.
I mean, he's going to play. So, I mean, it's get somebody who is better, draft one, I don't care, do something, but you have to help yourself out in that position.
That's why I went with the Trubisky thing of I think he's good enough to do what Jimmy G would do for you.
Yeah.
Except you can get 8 years out of him, and Jimmy's getting toward the end of his run.
4 maybe if he's successful.
Also has the active quarterback with the most rings.
I saw that. So that's crazy.
He's the only one with 2 Super Bowl rings. Never played in any of them, but he got them.
Got him. He's got him in his pocket.
Played in one, but not with that team, and they didn't win. They should have won.
Yeah.
He missed a wide open guy.
Yes, he did. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we just solved a lot of issues.
Feel like all of them.
Your Dak one, that one got
That's
me. I like that.
Great, isn't
that
it?
was fantastic.
I don't even know why it popped up. I'm just literally was just laying on the couch of like, that makes fucking sense.
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
Of like, they're like, we need 3 first-round draft picks. Of like, well, how about Dak Prescott though? Yeah. And I'll give you a second rounder.
Yeah.
Well, that works.
That works.
I mean,
yeah. I like it. I really do. It's nice. If it happened, that would
because
be
if you want 3
incredible.
first-round picks, you're also the Texans. What makes you think you're going to draft anybody?
Yeah.
This guy's proven.
Mm-hmm. His 3 first-round, it was 3 first-round picks last year.
Yeah.
It's now down to 2 and a couple other down the road. The more you drag it out, now I know that whatever, all the lawsuit stuff that
that's that is what it is. I mean, that's got to play out, and they push that deposition back another month because I think they're criminal-wise is getting close to being done with their investigation to see if they're going to actually press charges criminally. Yeah. And if they don't press charges criminally, then the other shit will get pushed off and settled and whatever, that'll be it. So
yeah, that was good stuff.
I didn't see that coming, did you?
No, it was nice. When
I said, if everything goes right.
No, when you texted me earlier and said, I got a big trade, I instantly thought Cowboys, but I didn't know where you were going with it.
Yeah.
I
think everybody would think Russell Wilson.
And I didn't think that because I feel like Dak is Russell Wilson in a way. But no, I did not expect. I knew it was the Cowboys, but I just didn't know where you were going with it.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was really good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I like that one.
Get to the other side of the state.
Yeah.
I would be excited for that if I was a Cowboys fan and that fucking happened. Of like, hey, we just went up to not just winning a playoff game, of like, feel like we should make the championship game and then have a shot at a Super Bowl with that.
Yes.
That's what I mean. If you keep Amari and all the stuff you have, and now you talk about whatever it's the most talented roster in football, and it would be.
Yes, it would be 100%. Yeah, and you could back it up.
Yeah.
We should have talked about changes from the. God damn it, Mike McCarthy should not be that fucking coach.
No,
I'm sorry,
but he was always going to get that extra year.
Yep.
Well, and that's the one thing is we both mentioned of like teams that need a tight end. But that they never hit the market. Yeah. Because when you have one, you keep one.
Well, the bad part is I'm pretty sure that this is the year for a tight end market. I mean, the Cowboys Schultz guy is up. Goddard's up. Uzama's up, and there's like 4 or 5 more that contracts are up that, whether they re-sign or not, you can, put some money in those guys' pockets.
Well, that's one like for the Bengals of if you can't pay Uzama, maybe you pay some offensive linemen.
Uh-huh.
And at 31, you can probably draft a tight end and then get Gronk.
Yeah.
Or, something like
something
that.
Like that.
I like Uzama, but if it comes down to paying you or getting,
Uzama is very...
Everybody's going to say the Bengals need to draft an offensive lineman. Well, at 31, that might not be great. Now, if they backed out and traded back, pick 8 of the second round and then was able to get a guard that's in there, okay.
Okay.
But a first round, 31st pick offensive lineman, kind of a tough deal.
It is.
But somebody might jump up for a running back.
Yes. The only person, not person, but the only time that usually works is if everybody in front of you is already good at offensive line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're not. Most teams in the top 10, there are at least 3 tackles taken in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why you get in that 30 to 40. You're usually going to get an pretty good guard that's probably going to start for 8 years for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're not going to get a center. Center tackle is more first round stuff. Guards are more second round.
Yeah. You can pick up a decent center that could start, but that's your third round.
That's your swing guy.
Yeah, that's your third round guy that he plays both.
He's going to play both guards and center and jump in when we need him.
Yeah.
You can get a starting guard at the beginning of the second.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we just solved the NFC East, and they're fucking terrible.
They're horrible. Now, I will say this. The Giants are so bad.
They are.
They need, what we said could help, but they need so much.
Well, basically, their first 2 draft picks are offensive line, and they got to be like home run, like almost Pro Bowl first year.
Exactly. Yeah.
To help them. I mean, now, those 2 picks will help 2 years down the road when they start learning how to play football.
Yeah.
But,
it's going to be tough for them. Now, granted, they do play in a division where it's wild as shit, and somebody they could pop up and win the division, but it is weird that an NFL team needs that much. It's very odd to me that you've let it go. It's almost like he just was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. And then you prolong it so long, it's like, oh, fuck, we're in a big hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well, it's just all the stuff of, like, they're not scared to spend money.
No.
They just
do it stupidly.
You gave wide receiver 1 money to a guy out of fucking Detroit that never even caught a touchdown.
Exactly.
Why is he making this much money? And that's the thing they talk about Daniel Jones of, it's time to move on from him. You've never given the guy a shot.
Not once.
Trying to think. I can't even think of the guy's fucking name.
Daniel Jones?
No. The receiver that they signed.
Kenny Galladay?
Galladay.
Yeah.
I was like, it was great when he was with Matthew Stafford slinging the ball down the field when they were down 40.
Yeah. They didn't even give him OBJ. They traded his ass before he got there. Yeah.
It'd be an interesting one when we get into some higher-end teams. There's not a lot of high-end teams. Or there's one high-end team in what we just talked about.
Yeah.
But like when you get into some teams that are going to compete of like when Jarvis Landry gets cut of where it's because you need you need a slot guy to complete your and Jarvis Landry's here of like okay
I got an idea where I would put him I would go.
You got to assume because he's another one that it's like you pay him $15 million next year, you cut him for 2. Well, you're probably getting cut. I mean because who's going to throw you the fucking ball?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know if Baker's okay.
I mean,
who knows?
That is such a weird thing with Cleveland.
Yeah,
they went from the darlings of the NFL to they can make a Super Bowl run to. Are they back to the shitty old Browns?
No shit.
Like as the Bengals come up and make a fucking Super Bowl of like, well, this isn't the Ohio team that we thought was going to be good.
Yeah. It's wild.
Pretty wild stuff. But yeah, that's you could talk. The weird thing is neither of us are fans about Cleveland, but you could probably talk about Cleveland for 30 fucking minutes of what they should do.
Yeah. And it wouldn't help.
And it wouldn't, because you don't need to touch the defense.
No.
It's fine.
It's fine.
But you have so many things of who's, because a lot of you hear a lot of Jimmy G stuff.
And let's be honest. You don't need to change a lot of the offense. I mean,
no.
Realistically, you need some receivers. But other than that,
well, that's the thing now of like because you know if you give Baker the pass, he's going to be your quarterback next year. Of now he's got nobody to throw to, especially if you end up cutting Jarvis.
Yeah.
Of like, well, now you're going to say, hey, do we need to sign this guy long term? But he has no receiver. We have a really good running game and nobody to throw it to.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and all of our passing game is based off play action. We're gonna need some guys.
Gonna need somebody to toss the ball to.
Yeah, other than the 9 tight ends that they have on roster.
Yeah. Well, it was a tight end league, so we signed a bunch of them, and we overpaid the fuck out of them.
We overpaid the worst one.
Yeah, and then never threw him the ball anyways because he's a pass blocker.
Njoku and Harrison are 10 times the fucking guy that Hooper is. It's bad. The only thing whenever I say Hooper, I think of the wheelchair kid in Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
Get on Hooper out in left field.
I don't know what are we going into South next week?
We can.
Okay.
We want to.
Because that's going to be a weird one of having whatever thought you got about fucking Atlanta.
Yeah.
And them. I'm like,
they're almost in the same boat as the Giants. Like, how did it get that bad?
The South is a whole train wreck because every team's a train wreck now.
Mm-hmm.
Because once Brady retired,
the Buccaneers are.
What do you go back to 3 wins?
Yeah. Oh,
where
my God,
Jameis might be a real thought.
Yeah.
He knows the system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got his eyes fixed. Maybe he won't fucking throw it to the other team that many times.
That would be fucking hilarious.
That would be awesome.
If they signed him.
If they signed him and he went and fucking balled out.
Yep. That would be awesome.
Awesome.
So good.
And he's not going to have any receivers because I assume Mike Evans will be on his way out also.
Yeah, probably. They got to pay one of them. You're choosing.
Well, Godwin's on a tag. He's gone. He's never been paid.
That's what I mean.
So he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Evans, whatever I don't know, because he restructured last year to keep some of those people, so I don't know where his contract's at.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at top 10 receivers on the market, and Antonio Brown is still listed as like 5th. Of like, Jesus, who's pulling the trigger on that?
Oh, God.
Then you got Juju. Like, he still outranks Juju.
Yeah. Wow. That's funny.
There's funny things to think about there.
Yeah. Funny.
God, I love the NFL and I hate the other sports.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
We didn't even get down, and we'll break that down. But what we talked about going in with college stuff of how we need to redo the SEC and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And now that they're 2026 before they're going to do an expansion.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Yeah.
But we got all summer to talk about that. We only got so many weeks to break down the NFL because they're going to start cutting people.
Yep.
Actually, we might end up, to look at the calendar, we're probably going to have to do 2 divisions a week, or we're going to miss to. We're going to start going on to things where they're already signing people.
Yeah, you're
cutting
right.
people.
Yeah.
So
all right, we'll do 2 next week.
We have to do 2 next week.
Yeah, we'll do North and South.
Do North and South in the NFC next week.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good thing.
Cool.
I don't know if I have anything. This should be a short show.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
I don't have anything else.
No.
All right, let's do it.
Wideside.